So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining Angel B today. My name is Chen. I'm a customer engineer in Google Cloud. I'm actually based in Charlotte, North Carolina, but in my previous life, I did cover federal civilian for quite a few years, including like accounts like DHS, USPS, FDA, just name a few. So I'm just going to take about 2 minutes to talk about from my personal perspective, why Google Cloud. So you might have seen this slide before. I really want to emphasize kind of the last point. What does it really mean we bring best of Google to the world? And besides, we have the best in cloud security, we have the biggest and fastest network. Not even talking about innovation is our lifeblood, is our DNA, that we embed intelligence in everything. What I want to point out actually two other aspects. One is openness. Or just like Android phone, you can run on almost any phone or tablets. The solution you probably heard like Kubernetes, TensorFlow that we developed, we really share to the world. Right? Open is like feel like a Google's religion. From the very beginning, we designed Google Cloud to support whatever the system best fit your needs. Doesn't matter it's hybrid or multi-cloud or something in between. And the second thing I would say is our culture, the empathy that we always put customer first. Like my title is customer engineer. We don't call ourselves like sales engineer. I really feel this firsthand after joining Google. Just start appreciate, understand why so many partners, customers come to us, really because of our culture. And but when it gets down to AI ML, you can see Google is really has been a clear leader when it comes to the analytics, AI ML, and business insights. Especially if you like the solutions we developed recent years, like auto ML, like auto machine learning or BigQuery ML, you can just start train your models or start your AI journey really without having lots of data scientists involved. I was listening to a YouTube video the other day from Andrew Ng. You might have heard his name. He is actually this big AI guru. He's a founder of Coursera, if you ever use that site. One of the line kind of got my attention. He said AI ML is not new. Like we all know that there are people actually major in AI back in the 60s or even earlier. But the algorithm really haven't changed that much. So why ML AI gets so much attention in recent years? So exactly like this picture is showing, is really the amount of data is sheer huge volume of data that is really pushing this ML rocket higher and higher. But what I want to talk about today is kind of near dear to my heart, to really showcase how technology like AI impacting our daily lives. The very personal experience, and you and I will encounter, and the service almost pretty much every organization provide these days, like contact center. I was just listening to UiPath. I think gentleman's name is Joe. He was talking about, second place in the government that during COVID, I need help is actually indeed the contact center. Another kind of personal story is I think we all have some personal experience or even fun with Google AI around images and video. And just the other day, my son and I were in Google Photo. That's where I store all my photos over the years. And I was just curious how accurate that search function is. So I put in some regular words like bridge, lake, playground, which it pretty much found everything big or small, like related to those words. And then I put a word not so ordinary. I put the word rat. Just curious what it's going to come back with. It actually came back a 5-minute video. I was actually hosting a Chinese New Year celebration this year in the university. And it shows a picture of me on this pretty stage. And I was like, there was no rat in this. Then it quickly hit me. I did mention during my opening speech that this year is the year of rat. So it's kind of interesting that it caught that even embedded in that 5 minutes video. So beyond the vision and search that almost, we get to taste the power of Google AI, we also make a big stride on the area we call voice AI or conversation AI. We're really in a deep revolution with like DeepMind, and there's two acronym I'll put there. It's called NLP and NLU. So I'm sure you heard DeepMind before, which developed AlphaGo. That is the first computer program that defeated a professional human Go player. And the two acronyms, NLU actually stands for natural language understanding, which is a subset of NLP, which is more popular. It's called natural language processing. And I thought it's funny, people using these two words interchangeably, just like people using AI ML interchangeably, even though ML is really a subset of AI. But regardless, these just like very popular acronym these days, within AI world. And interestingly, I recently have to reach out to many customer service from various organizations. Of course, with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, lots of retails I'm calling. And as a consumer, we all expect that quick resolution. But oftentimes, I found myself seems to wait forever. And when you finally talk to somebody, you got routed to like different departments and listen to yourself talking your mother's maiden name like 5 times, right? So how we get that great personal experience in contact center. Also, here's some good news. The industry number just shows that 31% of CIOs have deployed conversational AI platforms. That's like 50% year over year. I think that's really amazing. The fast-paced, massive adoption of this technology really just has matured in the last few years. And also, by 2023, 70% of customers will prefer an easy automated assist, like speech interface to initiate that self-service. I would say I myself, probably the guilty one, I would love just not talking to a human, just get it done, right? And this number rises 40% just from 2 years ago. It's a real huge jump in 2 years. And I think the reason is the contact center are no longer like those humble operation function that tuck away, out of sight, out of mind. Today's those omni-channel contact center, right? Not your traditional customer service, just have like voice or voice over IP. This contact center now have this omni-channel with app and chat, just many different ways of contacting customer, is really moving to a strategic heart of our organization. So another number is pretty amazing is in 3 years, 40% of the contact center interaction will be fully automated by AI. Well, I think that here is reality is consumers or customers like you and me, we've been very familiar with conversation AI. We are using voice-enabled devices like Nest Home, Google Assist, and so really 90% of us are already very comfortable with this, and in reality, kind of being trained using voice on a daily basis. I remember in the past, we thought, well, the chat will probably replace voice and people are just not going to call in the contact center, but that's actually not happening. Voice actually growing very fast and the contact center AI is there to answer that call. So what is really contact center AI? Inside Google, it is actually 3 products. We have this thing called Dialog Flow that automating interactions and self-service. So it understands customers' expressions and determine the appropriate responses and can reply directly to customers. And it also does a handoff to a human agent. So when a human agent takes over, what we have is what we call agent assist. That's to help this agent to deliver a stellar experience. And finally, we have this newborn, we call it CCAI Insights, that help you to understand what is happening in the contact center. So before I dive into details, let me see if we can play a quick video and see if that actually works here. Ron, you let me know if you...
Hi, Prisha. Thanks for calling our bank. How can I help?
Hi, I'd like to pay my bill.
Great. Can you please verify your address?
15 State Street. Oh, and how much is it?
Virtual Agent provides immediate conversational support with customers directing the flow.
You owe $150. Do you want to pay with the account ending in 1337?
Yes, please.
Done. I've sent an email confirmation. Is there anything else?
Virtual Agent can take care of basic fulfillment on the spot.
Yes, actually, there's a $35 charge I don't recognize.
From last week? It looks like it's an overdraft fee.
Oh, that's not fair. I didn't know.
Okay, let me transfer you to a specialist to help.
More complex cases are seamlessly handed off to a human agent.
Hi, Prisha. I'm Elliot. I see you're concerned about the overdraft fee.
Yeah, I didn't know I would get charged.
Okay, I can waive the fee this time, but would you like overdraft protection so it doesn't happen again?
Agent Assist listens in, giving real-time, step-by-step guidance.
Yes, please.
Okay, I've set it up. Is there anything else?
No, this was great. Thanks a lot.
Lastly, Insights gives you real-time visibility into key call drivers and sentiment.
All right. Hopefully that played well. Oh, shoot. Did I? Oh, okay. Okay, let me see. How do I go on? Yep. So what you just saw is a perfect example of CCI experience. So first you have a dialog flow for that self-service, getting the context, helping the customer as much as possible, and also doing that backend calls or backend fulfillment. But when the call needs to be escalated to a human, Dialogflow will transition that very smoothly, give all the context to the human agent, just allow the conversation being seamlessly picked up right away. I don't know about you, I got frustrated very quickly when I had to repeat the same thing, right? So this will allow you to avoid all that repetition. And all these data being created, all that interactions by virtual and human agent, all being fed into the insight to have a holistic view of all channels that cross the contact center. So when you look at the benefits or the value created by CCI, I would say the first one is human agent. And with the agent assist, bring those suggestions to them at the right time, the human agent will able to provide those responses more accurately and with better and more relevant information. And they will feel like a powerful and super agent. I'm always thinking there's like a James Bond, who has all the gadgets in his disposal that can accomplish any mission. And of course, with the better job satisfaction, it will reduce the churn. As you know, that can happen in the contact center every 6 to 12 months. And training the new agent can be very costly. And on the customer side, we got 24/7 service. And since the agent get the information faster, the calls are shorter, the first call response rate increases, and really the trust to your institution or organization greatly improved. So, we really know the challenge of contact center, especially during the COVID time. This is an example of the state of Illinois. I think UiPath previously talked about this a little bit as well. They saw 3.2 million unemployment inquiries just in the first 2 weeks, something they have never seen before. And of course, the surge also compound the shelter in place that residents cannot go visiting the claim center in person. So the contact center is so overwhelmed, nobody can get through or on hold for hours. So the state had to turn to technology. So they quickly deployed CCAI from Google Cloud and get this virtual intelligence agent on their department website. And they were able to handle more than 2.6 million just this voice and chat interactions just without human involved, and answer all the almost 100% clean claim. And all this data is in the press conference they did back in April the 13th. So the results are really astounding. Of course, also the Google Cloud partners like Quantifier, Cisco, and Presidio all quickly involved in the whole solution. So it's a great story for them and for us in a very difficult time. Ron, how my time doing? Should I go just a little bit more?
Yeah, let's go. I'm just waiting for your colleague Jason to log on, talk about
Okay.
mainframes, but I'd spend about 10 minutes more. And the other key thing that I see within a number of these talks, and this is more my strategic insights, whether or not you're talking about AI and contact centers or automation in general, is that there's so much technology out there that can eliminate error-prone tasks. You don't need to be a hardcore Python, C# programmer to implement these solutions. You just need to understand this. And I think everyone's job is changing because everyone needs to look at their job more strategically as an architect, not doing tasks. And what's happening is there's so many capabilities out there that with just general knowledge, I always tell people, if you can program your Android device or your iPhone and figure out the home screen and download the apps and all that, if you can get that done on your smartphone, you can be an incredibly powerful developer doing AI, data analytics, etc. You know, I think it might be useful, and we talked about this as well, Chen, if you could even talk about some of the ways and some of your experience in education and the public sector where you've made these solutions work very efficiently.
Sure thing. Yeah, just like you said, right? We have all these framework that's already done that you don't need to be a data scientist. Like this state of Illinois case, the deployment is less than a week, right? There is no, like you said, somebody mentioned hardware to purchase or like data scientists to bring in. All these are you provision it at your fingertip. So let me just quickly talk about technology behind it, right? So first of all, we talk about the Dialog Flow, which is a self-service tool, like I mentioned before, and we really see the large adoption of it. And as you can see, Google is always data-driven. We love our stats and numbers, but because they do speak the power and the growth of it, so over 1.4 million developers have signed up on this platform. And because we already have all these bundled, like Ron, you said, all these are bundled already, right? So we have the 22 languages. We have like this one-click integration with telephony partners like Avaya and Genesis. You know, you just need to get a number and a bot behind it, right? And the important feature of what Dialogflow is able to scale a massive amount of agents and intents. And intents is a very kind of important concept here. Intent could be like, say, what's the hour of operation? What's tomorrow's temperature in Louisville, Kentucky? Because the Dialogflow will kind of match that intent and then automatically take the action and response. So put in simple terms, that people can call in 20,000 different things for a single bot. And like I mentioned, the adoption has been very wide, from the government agency like USPS to financial organization like Discovery, and the list goes on. And so, of course, we are not going to stop there. This year, we also launched Dialogflow CX. It's called Customer Experience. And so incorporating all the things we've learned from Dialogflow, and which allow you to create this complex flow, which has a drag and drop flow builder and graphic transition. So really just make it simple to allow you to build bots very efficiently and quickly. So I want to quickly talk about Agent Assist. What is Agent Assist is about to help humans to focus on more engaging and complex customer issue. Humans are often new. Maybe they don't know the new products and procedures, maybe not comfortable of the information that customers are asking. So what we do in these situations, we do a live transcription of all calls. So I know lots of contact center, like they probably do call recordings, but nobody really, how many people actually go there and listen to recording and know what's going on. And however, with live transcription, you can listen to all the conversation and provide the human agent with that useful document and FAQs, whatever agents needs, all in that real time. So they don't put people on hold and fumble through the sticky notes or emails, or maybe all days pop to the next cubicles to ask questions, right? So they really gain this efficiency and make the new agents to be more aware, taxonomy of the organization. And with the great success of the agent assist for voice, we also introduced agent assist for chat. And because it's on chat, we can do more things like smart replies and smart compose, type ahead, the things that we all use for in Gmail or Google Doc. As you can imagine, those agents probably have multiple chats, opening at the same time. So this smart thing is really a big time saver. And with CCI Insights, it really makes the organization, you can manage the contact center more efficiently. So from pure data perspective, it gives you how many calls, the length of the call, even the amount of dead air, silent time, right? Like when the agent's doing research. And so really the benefits also about drilling into the conversation and search through them and setting the drivers behind the call and analyzing the sentiment. When the call turned to negative, maybe that's the time we should get a supervisor involved. And of course, you can do other like complaints check. The QA managers particularly like this feature. So we're really excited with that. So in the next 3-4 minutes, let me just kind of dive into a little deeper, peel the outer layer of the onion to see what's the technology behind it. Right, so the first thing is Google AI. We're enabling a conversation that's close to human, but we're not claiming we're going to replace human. We actually advise our customer to make sure they're not conceived by the experiments. From a technology perspective, Google AI benefits from like the DeepMind, like I talked before, but also Google Home, Google Assist, Google Search. As you can imagine, lots of very smart AI people, in these areas. It really boils down to 3 fundamental elements. Is understand customers, no matter how they phrase things, what vocabulary they use, what accent they have. Maybe that's why it can understand me fairly well. And it's able to respond to customer in a natural human-like manner. And like we talked about before, the dialog flow can, decide your intent and determine the next step, just pushing the conversation forward. And if you think about speech to text, which we use quite often these days, our phone, which is really a core underlying technology for conversation AI. It can accurately, convert speech into text using this very complex algorithm. Last year, a third-party automatic speech recognition did a comparison across multiple cloud platforms, speech to text, and Google ranked the best, and we're second only to human. And as we talked before, it's not something easy to do. For example, if you call into your credit card company, you can hear other agents talking to other customers, just people talk left to right. And so you can apply the same speech model to transcribing, like say a video conference, right? So the model really needs to be optimized to be so-called like a noise robustness, or almost like a noise cancellation in contact center. So this is definitely something Google does the best. And finally, text to speech, what we're doing is enable you to synthesize a natural sounding speech, what we call voice, customer voice or custom speech. So you might have heard technology called WaveNet. It is basically using the DeepMind's groundbreaking research, its ability to train a real human natural voice and create an audio that sounds like a person talking. The technology is really pretty impressive, and customers actually very keen on using customer voice. Of course, we're using it in the most ethical way. For example, Verizon VP and CIO recently public speaks how they love this state-of-art, high-fidelity synthetic voice. And lastly, I know my time is up. I just want to talk real quickly, like I said before, in Google, we're open in technology. We listen to customers. Speech to text on-prem is a big ask. I would imagine, especially from public sector, you want to be maybe on-prem or in a multi-cloud environment that Anthos allows that speech to text to bring you to your on-premise or multi-cloud environment to meet your mission anywhere possible. So that's covered, and